So Clint, thank you for stopping by our booth.
That's my pleasure, Paul.
It was good to meet you earlier today at lunch and hear some of the stories and some of the things you're doing. So one of the things that we're talking about here at the conference and hearing a lot about from some of this messaging and the keynotes from Anthology is, how is Gen AI being sort of viewed or looked at or used, by schools? And you had some really interesting perspectives, from your vantage point in terms of working in instructional design and support. And I just thought maybe just to share with the folks that are viewing the podcast, sort of your thoughts on what you're seeing and how maybe you look at AI today in your daily work.
Well, I think, first of all, we talked about faculty perception of AI. There's different perceptions. Certain fields tend to be a little more concerned about it because, especially in the creative fields, because, as I said at lunch earlier, academics are writers by profession.
Yep.
And so the idea that someone's going to draft a paper for them, that a software program is going to draft a paper for them, is very difficult for many people to grasp. And it's not something really that they expect their students to do, even though, as we also talked about, AI is propagating into the workplace. It's I can never say that word, proliferating into the workplace. And our students are going to be expected to use it. And so we have to be able to prepare them for that workplace experience. So it's kind of balancing those two. I have been myself in the past, I won't say an AI skeptic, but skeptical of all the claims that are being made about AI, simply because I'm an educational technologist by profession, and the history of educational technology is, here's the new big thing, it's going to transform everything, and it doesn't transform everything, but it has an impact. And so right now I feel AI will be the same, that it will have an impact, perhaps an outsized impact, but the idea that AI is going to completely transform learning, I mean, we still have psychologists and philosophers who can't tell you exactly how people learn. We have all sorts of learning models out there. Connectivism is the biggest one. Shout out to Stephen Downs, who's big into connectivism, has a great newsletter, by the way, not an ad. But so, I mean, I feel like it's navigating that balance that is the trick for people in my business. And as far as instructional design goes, it's making sure that whatever AI technology we use do the things that we expect from instructional design. Identify objectives, measure objectives, create content and activities that direct students learning, that help students navigate the learning process.
Yeah. What's interesting about that, when you look at the conversations around AI today and the skepticism on one side may be very high, and then on the other side, embracing it can do all great things. The reality is the experience is in the middle of that, right? And we're kind of on this curve. What would you recommend if you were, talking to other instructional designers or people in your field? What should they be doing right now with AI? What perspective would they take?
Well, I think, and I'm going to plead guilty to not following my own advice in this case, but I think the first thing you have to do is you have to experience it. Yeah. I played around with GPT and have come away not too impressed, but I've only kind of scratched the surface. We haven't really had a lot of time to experiment with the generative AI tools that Blackboard's offering. They look promising, and the one thing I like about them is they're not too ambitious. When you talk about designing learning modules, it's not, here's your module and here's all the content in the module and everything that you would ever have to do. It's, here's an idea about how to design a module. If you don't like this, here's another idea. It's a way to begin. So that, I think, is a safer approach, right, for a lot of faculty, even though there are some faculty who will chafe at that quite naturally because of the temperament, because of, as again, they're writers and creative people. So experiencing the AI is step one. And then
your own personal journey and experience with AI, right?
Yeah.
Would be the really, yeah.
Yeah, and my journey is just beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just taking baby steps right
Yeah.
now, and our university we're planning on having a discussion about AI with all of our key stakeholders, particularly we want our technology services committee, our technology instructional support committee, I should say, to have a discussion about that. We want to give the faculty senate a chance to have a discussion about that,
Right.
so that they are part of the process moving forward. Not as just, here's a bunch of AI tools, we'll help you try to figure them out, but here's what AI can do. What are the best steps for us going forward?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Having a measured approach and having a sort of personal experience along the way is the right way. And it's so good to hear you share your own experiences on this. So thank you for stopping by and having a conversation with us.
It's my pleasure.
Enjoy
Paul. Appreciate it.
AT24.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Take care.